Let's jump right into it, man. You got this fight coming up, PFL Challenger Series. A lot of people wanted to get on these cards and they weren't able to. How'd you end up on it?
Well, my manager is the man. He made it happen. If honestly feels like the Kumite. You got all these people from all different countries. You got Brazil, Canada, Israel, so on, so on, America, and I feel so proud to be representing Armenia. Is It feels awesome. Like this is a dream come true for me.
Yeah, it is, man. There has been, a few guys ahead of you that have put Armenia on the map in MMA. You're just the next guy up. You've been killing it on the regional scene, especially. When you think about representing your country, man, that's a different feeling, right? It's almost like being in the Olympics without being in the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. When I was in Armenia I was there this last summer, but the time before that, I was there like 11, 12 years ago or something like that. A friend of the family gave me an Armenian flag to carry to my fights, and he said this flag is gonna give you extra power, and it always has. It, you, it feels good to know that there's a whole nation behind me,
Mhm.
and they're backing me. When I win, they win. We win together, and it's especially Armenia. We're such a small nation. There's not too many of us left. 3 million in Armenia, and another couple of million spread across the world. So to go out there and to achieve victories, it's a big deal for my country. And also, I'd like to mention the fact that as we have disproportionate amount of champions
Mhm.
for as little amount of people as we have a lot of champions in combat sports. I think we are made for fighting.
Oh, that's without a doubt, man. That's without a doubt. Kickboxing and all of that. Um, You're facing off against Michael Dufort, man. He's a pretty, highly, touted prospect out of Canada. How do you feel about the matchup?
I love it. I think it's a tailor-made matchup for me. It's I'm not overlooking him in any way. I think he's gonna be tough. He's gonna bring it. Like it's gonna be a war, but I'm just a notch above him in every aspect. I feel like so. But one thing I've learned throughout my career is expect the unexpected, and I'm ready for a war, but I'm ready to kick his ass.
Definitely. And speaking of unexpected, after you won the LOXF lightweight title in 2019,
Hmm.
2020 hit and the pandemic hit and you just wasn't able to find any fights, or were you injured? What was going on? I know the pandemic was going on, but what was your situation like at that time?
Can we swear on this
Yeah, of
podcast?
course, man. It's internet.
Fuck COVID, man. It almost ruined my career. It really, like, I was so mad. I was fuming the whole time. I was like, everybody around me getting fights, and nobody wanted to fight me, and it took a while for me to get with the right management team to get the fights going, and yeah, then finally, but like, I was fuming the whole 2020. I was pissed. Like, I wanted to fight so bad, and I was like, clock is ticking. I need to be on the big show. Anyway, we made it through it. We got a couple of wins, and now we on. To me, this is the biggest honor, to be
Mhm.
fighting in this kumite, as I like to call it, and big things are coming.
Going back to that year of anger, what I mean, that anger you can use as fuel in the training room. And like you said, you had teammates fighting, so you must have been in there helping them out. So as you help them, you develop. How much development did you make in that year?
I grew a lot. So COVID made things weird with training. There was like first we are doing training in pods, like certain amount of
Mhm.
people. I was like, fuck this. I'm building my own gym inside my house. So we literally, as soon as you walk into my house, you turn left and there's matted walls, like a whole area for full on sparring, like mats covering the walls and the floor. And we would just beat the shit out of each other there. Uh, my house is filled with fighters, great fighters. We got Dustin Ortiz, Caleb Crump, Vanilla Thunder. Rafa Garcia was living there for a while. So and we just continued to get better. We knew that this circumstances sucked, but it was out of our control. So the only thing we could do is just grow as fighters, get better, because the competition at the highest levels is competition in general is too good. You can't give anybody any edge. You got to be outworking, outsmarting everybody. So COVID, no COVID, didn't matter. Fight, no fight, we had to get better, and we did just that. I think every fight I continue to show improvements, and I continue uh, to show that I'm better than I was previous fight, and that's because of sustained obsession. Yeah, we live and breathe this. Like when we're not training. So I start my day training from 12 to 3, my first training session. Right now I'm in the parking lot of Restore Hyper Wellness. It's my recovery team. I go do hyperbaric chamber here, cryotherapy, all of that stuff, you name it. And then I go to my second practice from 6:30 to 9, and rinse and repeat every day. And come home, we play UFC for fun. Like we just breathe this, and that's what you need to do to achieve greatness.
It sounds like the house that you live in is the wrong house for any burglar to
To break
sneak
it,
into.
yeah, yeah. We call it Champ House, and yeah, like it would be if somebody broke in, it'd be like, go ahead, make my day.
Exactly. Just be able to practice what you preach, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So
Well, it's 2021 was a good year, man. Even though you missed a long stretch of time in competition, you came back, got that first round finish. Then after that, you went to a decision with Kenneth Glenn. Talk about that fight, man. Of how important is it sometimes to just go the distance, man, to be able to like show that you can do that and win a fight.
um, it was great because I didn't tell anybody, but I had torn cartilage going into that fight. But there was a big opportunity there, and I was like, I'm gonna find a way to win anyway, eh, regardless of this rib. So, but that forced me to be a little more conservative in my uh, fighting approach. I had to be more patient, and I didn't want to like warming up in the locker room. My rib was hurting me, so I knew that I needed to avoid any sort of wrestling, grappling exchanges, and just kind of keep them at bay. And uh, stylistically, I could do just that. Like I had longer range, and I just kept them there, and it felt really good to know that. Despite the circumstances, despite my injury, I could go in there and do my job and execute the game plan. So, maybe it wasn't as exciting as the fight before that where I got the first round finished, but I'm still very proud of that fight, because I know the adversity I had to deal with. My team knows the adversity I had to deal with, and I was able to shine regardless of that.
Those fights, I believe, are more important than the quick finishes or just finishes in general, right? Because you prove more to yourself rather than to other people, because the highlight reels are nice, but those fights, man, they're the ones that get you to that next level in your skill
Yeah.
set.
Yeah, you grow a lot from those. You get a lot of confidence in those, especially if you're overcoming adversity. Like it's you definitely grow from those. I mean, every fight you grow from, win, lose, all but like I think you get more experience each round you fight. You get experience, and experience is key.
How long did it take for you to, get over that injury? Because you had that fight in November, right before Thanksgiving and Christmas. So did you just
Hmm.
chill out for a little bit?
Yeah, well, yeah, I went on a little vacation. Honestly, it took about another mm, month or two before it was 100%.
Mhm.
Uh, so I also, I don't know, I did something to my hand that fight too. So I was like, that's okay. I didn't spar too much for like a month or so, but I kept drilling and I kept doing physical conditioning. And this man, MMA is the it's such a sport where like there's always something to do. You can't
Mhm.
spar, no big deal. You can always do strength conditioning. You could always drill. You could always do something. So I wasn't even stressing it. It was just difficult going into a fight where like
Mhm.
knowing that man I can't really get into any grappling exchanges because I can't twist, torque. Like when you have
Mhm.
rib injuries, it limits your twisting motions, and it's just you can't really flex your abs. It sucks. The ribs suck.
Definitely. And when did you get back into like full blown like training, sparring, and all of that good stuff?
I'd say about a month after that fight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you've been grinding for this fight coming up for a while then.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, people call it a grind. I call it my job. Yeah. I'm a
Mhm.
professional. Yeah. I wake up. I measure my heart rate every morning. I've been doing it for the last 3 years. My heart rate, my HRV. I know how to push myself without getting injured. I mean, sometimes you're gonna get injured regardless. Freak stuff happens. But people go work 8 hours a day behind the desk. I'd kill myself if I did that. I couldn't do that. So like this is my job. I put in my 8 hours in a different way. So I don't. Sometimes you need to take a day off. You take a
Mhm.
day off if your body's feeling it. But I love this. Like I don't get tired of this.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
the last week of training camp where you kind of push through the
Mhm.
elevated heart rate and you just it becomes more mental than physical at that point. But that's the only time I'm like, I'm a little over this. But like a
Yeah.
week of vacation and I miss it already.
With the PFL, man, did you watch the first show? They had like this like panel of judges. It was a
Ray
different
Lewis.
experience, man. Yeah, it's a trip, man. Like they had like Jeremy Piven, just like surprise people coming up and kind of being the panel of judges. What do you think about that?
Man, my only thoughts are, I hope, I pray to God. I've prayed to God several times about this, that Mike Tyson's at my fight. Mike
Yeah.
Tyson is my biggest hero growing up, and like if my first fight was in Catskill, New York, and I think it's a sign. I think Mike Tyson's gonna be at my fight, and he's gonna watch me do some work, and uh, that would be amazing. That would be that. Like I fought in front of Dana White. That was cool and all. Like yeah, of course I wanted to impress, but
Mhm.
to impress Mike Tyson, that would be a dream come true for me. Like I, I have no shame about fanboying out in front of Mike Tyson.
Mhm.
Mike Tyson's the man. So I mean, I'm sure they have other cool celebrities there, but bring Mike Tyson to my fight.
Yeah, he is
Yeah,
he is an idol, I mean, for so many people in combat sports. It's ridiculous. I think people that don't get what is it, you know, how do you call it? Starstruck? They usually get starstruck in front of Mike Tyson. Now,
yeah.
you're gonna possibly have Mike Tyson at the fights for the panel. What do you expect to do, man? What kind of performance are you expecting out of yourself?
Well, I'm gonna go out there and win the moment. Like I said,
Mhm.
I've learned that in fights, you have to expect the unexpected. So there's not much I can expect from myself than to win the moment. Like that's all I can do. So I'm gonna take the fight where my opponent doesn't want it. It's very simple. And uh, that's and I'm gonna take the opportunities that are there. I'm an opportunist by nature. I do it when I see things that I can exploit. I will exploit them. So uh, and if it ends in a spectacular finish, great. If it ends in a spectacular finish, awesome. But if it ends in a 3 rounds, me whooping his ass, that's what it is. I'm there to win the moment. That's all I can do. It takes two to tango, so uh, that's the only pressure that I'm putting on myself is to win the moment. And hopefully, it's in a spectacular KO, which I've had a few in my career, so the odds are in my favor in that.
All right, man. March 18th, PFL Challenger Series. Appreciate the time, prime time. Thank you so much.
Likewise, thanks for having me, man. Have a good
No
one.
doubt, man.